Guru Guranga Kandar Vikirishari Ravinod Vihari Radha Govinda Jyoti
Jai
Davinda Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pararajacharya Astatara Satashi Shimadavai Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Dalila Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pararajacharya Astatara Satashi Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Nayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev Ki Shri Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Prem Se Gosi Krishna Chaitanya Bhuvanitananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinda Antikot Vaishnava Ki Samagata Bhaktivinda Ki Shimitai Gaur Prem
Yeah, there won't be time.
Yeah, there's no way.
That's impossible. Because it's going to go on for a couple of hours even.
Yeah.
And I have to be in, not feeling tired and the whole thing.
Let's speak of the setup,
The setup?
Yeah, you're gonna get over.
Oh yeah, there.
You set up in Navadvip.
Yeah, there's no time. No time.
Madhukar could help you set up with a nice background from Navadvip down.
Yeah. Madhukar can help. Let's see.
Plus he's connected to Mahaprasad.
Oh, he is.
They used to be good friends.
Yes. They had a falling out on the Jiva issue because he's very, I have to say, sentimentally attached to Shamarani Devi, so he felt like...
the Swarup issue.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. So, tonight may be the last night. Maybe, because I only have so much time.
You have to go into town tomorrow.
What?
He's got to do his...
You have to go down to the town, but I'm not going to stay down there. But I've got all these different things to finalize. If I see that I can do it, then I'll have class tomorrow. But this could be the last one. I'm just telling to those who are online. But I will resume. It will be resumed in the future. And also, now that we have Zoom, that facility can continue, communicate, stay in touch. I have to stay in touch with all of you. You're all my God brothers. You're my bosom friends. So how can I not? And I won't have, because there's not that many Prabhupada disciples, senior like that. Even in ISKCON nowadays,
Where?
Like, if you're somewhere, either in an ISKCON temple or wherever, like our places, it's very rare to have like 5, 8 Prabhupada senior disciples together in one place, So that's been a luxury for me, that I have my God brothers up here, God sisters. So that's good.
Kapanandini just told me that Vasik Mohan was meeting with the New York ISKCON devotees, the younger devotees, and there's evidently kind of an uprising amongst the youth of anger at the leaders for keeping them away from Gurudev.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that is very significant news. Wow. That's inevitable.
Play into
your... Exactly. Krishna's got something timed. It looks like that. Something is timed.
He told me today.
Jai Ho. Jai Suparikar Shri Guru Gauranga. Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Govinda Jiu Ki Jai. Radha Vinod Bihari Jiu Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Shri Nityananda Mahajana Ki Jai, Shri Pancha Tattva Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahabhadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne gaura trishe namah. Nityanandam namastubhyam Prema ananda pradayane Kalau kalmashanashaya Janava pataye namaha. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jayatam Suruto Pangor Mama Mandamater Gati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Shrimad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Preshta Libhi Sevyamano Smarami. Shriman Rasa Rasarambhi Vam Shivata Tatakstitaha Karshan Venu Swanayir Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha. Bhaktya Vihina Aparadha Lakshay Kshiptascha Kamadi Taranga Madhye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my Koti Dandavat Pranams at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa Ashtatarashata, Sri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. And then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nitya Lila Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Astatarasata, Shri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. And Nitya Lila Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata, Shri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering my Dandavat pranams to the lotus feet of all of our Sri Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, and especially to our Prayojan Tattva Acharya, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pad, the author of Sri Vilapa-kusumanjali. And I offer my Dandavat pranams to all of the Vaishnavas and all of the Vaishnavis. So, looks like we're on verse 48. Yeah, verse 48. Finished. We finished verse 46 and verse 47, the last class. So I'm just reading the English for verse 46 and 47. O lovely thighed one, when employing the hands of your friends, such as myself, will you place before the killer of the Madhu demon the many sweet preparations you very carefully cooked by the order of the Queen of Vraja? Verse 47. Oh, you can repeat after me. O lovely thighed one,
O lovely thighed one,
when employing the hands of your friends, such as myself, will you place before the killer of the Madhu demon the many sweet preparations you very carefully cooked by the order of the Queen of Vraja? Who's the Queen? Yeah. Verse 47. O beautiful one, when lovingly touching her forehead to mine, will the jubilant Queen of Braj, Yashoda Mata, like a loving mother, ask me about your welfare, because I am your maidservant. O beautiful one, when lovingly touching her forehead to mine, will the jubilant Queen of Braja, Yashoda Mata, like a loving mother, ask me about your welfare, because I am your maidservant. Did we finish that purport? We did.
We did.
Oh, okay. Merciful remnants. Prem Ratana Dana Helaya Harainu. Yeah. He's saying at the end of the previous commentary, the Narottam Das Thakur song Gora Pahun. And he's saying, Prema Ratana Dana Helaya Harainu. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought Prema Dana to give us freely. And he has opened his hands and said, take. There's Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya deity at Imli Tala. You remember how they look? And one of them has his hands like this, either Nityananda or Mahaprabhu. And that form means take. Take. So he has opened his hands and he said, take, but we are not taking. We're not taking. Free of charge, he has given it to us. But we are so wretched that we are not taking this brain. He is giving, he is offering always, but we are not taking. Adhane jatana kori dhanate aginu. The things that are not valuable, we understand them as valuable. And we are always endeavoring to acquire these things, but we are not endeavoring at all to obtain this prem dhan. Prem dhan. We are not doing any effort, no sadhan bhajan, Gaur kirtana rase magana nahoinu. Only by chanting Krishna's name, Gaura's name, and doing some kirtan, it can be achieved. But we have no taste in this also. Vishaya Vishama Visha Satata Kain. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is warning us. Narottam Das Thakur is also warning us. All the Goswamis are warning us against indulgence in sense gratification. But our minds do not obey us, and still we are attracted to the objects of the senses. Narottam Das Thakur is praying, these senses are not obeying me. What should I do? Narottam Das says, Narottama Dasa Keno Nagela Maria. Why is it that I don't simply die? Because I am so sinful and fallen. In this life I am unable to perform bhajan of Gaur Chandra and Radha and Krishna. So I will try again in my next life. So in this way, we should reflect and pray. Every word Raghunath Das Goswami gives has a very deep meaning, and he is remembering the past times regarding those words. He is remembering the pastimes of Krishna when Srimati Radhika is giving tambula to Krishna, or Krishna is giving his half-chewed tambula. So that's the end of the previous verse 47. That's the end of Gurudev's commentary. Now verse 48. Krishna vaktram bujo chishtam prasadam param adarat dattam danishtaya devi kim aneshyami te agrataha. O Devi, when will I place before you Krishna's remnants which are respectfully brought by Dhanishta Saki? Can you repeat? Krishna?
Krishna.
Vaktram buja.
Vaktram buja.
Uchishtam.
Uchishtam.
Prasadam. Param. Adarat. Dattam. Danishtaya. Devi. Kim. Aneshyami. Te grataha. O Devi, when will I place before you Krishna's remnants?
When will I place before you Krishna's remnants?
Which are respectfully brought by Dhanishta Saki.
Which are respectfully brought by Dhanishta Saki.
Srila Gurudev's commentary. good long. This one is short, and then the next one is lengthy commentary. First section, bringing Sri Krishna's remnants to Radhika. Srimati Radhika does not take anything besides Krishna's remnants. She doesn't take anything else besides Krishna's remnants. In the previous verse, Tulsi Manjari said that Radhika will send her to Mother Yashoda with varieties of sweetmeats that Radhika has prepared. And he's thinking, when I will go there with all these preparations, when she's thinking that I will go there with all these preparations, and I will do pranam to Mother Yashoda, and she will take me in her arms and give so many blessings. Then she will ask after the welfare of her darling daughter Radhika, and I will give all these sweets to Yashoda Ma, who will give it to Krishna to take. So when Krishna returned from cowherding, at once Tulsi went to Nandagaon. She saw that Krishna was coming with so many cows and friends. And she also saw that every mother first took Krishna in her lap and then their sons. And then they returned to their homes. Yashoda took Krishna to Nanda Bhavan, and Tulsi was watching what happened there. Krishna took bath, and then he and Baladev, Nanda Baba, and everyone, they sat down to take prasadam. So Mother Yashoda, Rohini, and Dhanishta are feeding all the boys that are present there with Krishna. At the time of taking prasad at Nanda Bhavan, all of Nanda Baba's brothers, such as Upananda, are present, and sometimes also Sri Dama. So this is like the ultimate family gathering with the relatives, isn't it? This is the ultimate, and it's going on eternally. So Nanda Baba, all of Nanda Baba's brothers, such as Upananda, are present, and sometimes also Sri Dama. So Krishna sits at Nanda Baba's left side, Baladev on his right side. Nanda Baba is feeding them both, and they also eat themselves. Madhu Mangal is also there, and by assuming various comical postures, he makes everyone laugh. If Mother Yashoda gives something nice to Krishna to eat, then Madhu Mangal says, "Oh, Mother, Krishna has an upset stomach. He cannot digest that. Therefore, give it to me instead." Sometimes Mother Yashoda gives so much on Madhu Mangal's plate, and Madhu Mangal says, "Oh, look over there, a crow has come." And when they all look in that direction, Madhu Mangal points, and he puts everything from his plate onto Krishna's plate. And he says, "I have taken everything what you have given, but he cannot take all these things, so again give me more." From Krishna's plate, right? In this way, everything is going on and everyone is enjoying the feast. Sometimes Upananda and the other brothers of Nanda Baba also place food in the mouths of Baladev and Krishna, and very pleasantly they take it all. When everyone rises to wash their hands, Krishna secretly places some of his remnants in the hands of Dhanishta. Yashoda Ma knows that Srimati Radhika and all her Sakhis will not take anything if the remnants of Krishna are not there. So sometimes she gives something to Dhanishta. Krishna says, "This preparation was not nice. Give it to Radhika and tell her it was not good." In reality, that preparation is so delicious, but he wants to give it to Radhika. This is called Pradosh Lila. Pradosh Lila is between Sandhya, sunset, and midnight, and it lasts for 2.5 hours. Srimati Radhika and all her Sakhis are waiting eagerly for Tulsi Manjari to return, and when she appears, they all become so happy. They all want to hear about all the pastimes of Krishna that took place in Nandagaon. Dattam Danishtaya. In this verse, Tulsi Manjari prays, after Danishta has given these remnants to me, when will I be able to bring them to you? When Tulsi Manjari returns to Yavat, Srimati Radhika asks her, "O Tulsi Manjari, were you present when Krishna was taking his meal?" And Tulsi replies, "I was there, but at a distance because Krishna's elders were there, so by shyness I could not go so close." Then they asked her, "Did Krishna enjoy it?" "He liked it very much." "But how did you know that he liked it?" Who's asking this? Srimati Radhika is asking Tulsi Manjari. "But how did you know that he liked it?" Then Tulsi says, "Krishna glanced towards me, and with his eyes he told me how delicious it was. And I also knew by eyes that Krishna had taken it." Then Radhika asks, "Did you receive an opportunity to render any service to Krishna? And was his stomach filled?" Then she answers, "Yes, he was fully satisfied." Radhika, "How do you know?" "I just know." Then Srimati Radhika looked into the eyes of Tulsi Manjari and searched for Krishna there. She saw that Krishna was there. How? Because Tulsi Manjari was so cheerful from seeing Krishna. Srimati Radhika saw Krishna in the eyes of Tulsi Manjari, and she became so pleased. The hairs on her body stood on end. Tears came in her eyes, and her voice became choked up, so she was unable to speak. That's Radhika that came like that. Then Tulsi Manjari gave her the remnants from Krishna, saying, "Krishna himself secretly gave these to Danishta for you." Then Lalita, Vishaka, and all the Sakhis sat down, and Srimati Radhika gave the remnants back to Tulsi Manjari and said, "Divide these amongst everyone." So therefore, in the next verse, Tulsi Manjari is praying, "When will I distribute Krishna's remnants to you and your Sakhis? You have not taken anything, yet because you were waiting for his remnants." Oh, you have not taken anything yet because you were waiting for his remnants. And that's the end of the commentary for verse 48. Now we're going on to verse 49. Nana vidhair amritasar rasayanais tai. Nana vidhair amritasara rasayanais tai. Krishna prasada militair ihabogya peyai. Ha kun kamangi lalitadi saki vritatvam yatnan maya kim uttaram upabojaniya. O you whose limbs are anointed with kumkum, when will I carefully feed you and Lalita and your other friends many kinds of food and nectar drinks mixed with the remnants of what was directly tasted by Lord Krishna? So you can repeat, Nana vidhair amritasar rasayanais tai. Krishna prasada militayar, ihabogya peyai, ha kunkumangi, lalitadi, saki, vritatvam, yatnan maya, kim utaram, upabojaniya. O you, whose limbs are anointed with kumkum, when will I carefully feed you? And Lalita and your other friends, many kinds of food and nectar drinks, mixed with the remnants of what was directly tasted by Lord Krishna. Yeah, I was just thinking that before we came to the temple, we never had anything that was called a nectar drink, did we? Huh? Maybe we had ice cream and we had other sweet things in our childhood and our upbringing. But nectar drinks? But when we came into the temple, there were lots of nectar drinks, right? Yeah. No, they call them smoothies or whatever, but yeah. Nectar came into our lives. Mango lassi, mango milkshake, all these exotic things that we never got growing up in the big Kali Yuga cities of the north, right? Mangoes? What's that?
Never had a mango.
Yeah.
Never had an avocado.
Never had an avocado. Never had a mango. My father, when I mentioned to him about that, in our temple we have mangoes, he says, I tasted a mango one time, many years ago. He said, tasted kind of like a peach. So, the life of Braj is constantly feasting, constantly drinking nectar drinks, and mixed in those nectar drinks the remnants of what was directly tasted by Lord Krishna. That's our future. Pretty good future, huh? So Srila Gurudev's commentary, the first section is titled The Ocean of Rasa, in the word Kunkumangi. So there's an ocean of rasa in this word, Kunkumangi. Krishna has taken 4 kinds of prasad, those which are licked, drunk, chewed, and sucked. Prabhupada translated as swallowed, right? We can say that, those which are, what was it? Those which are licked,
Drunk and sucked.
That's the order in which Prabhupada said it, huh? Now, but these 4 are so many varieties of these 4 types. Here in this verse, Tulsi Manjari is praying to Srimati Radhika to be able to distribute Krishna's remnants to her and all the other Sakis. Ha Kumkum Angi. Kumkum Angi means she has taken kumkum on her whole body, especially on her breast. This kumkum has so many pastimes, which have been told in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Govinda Lilamrita, Krishna Bhavanamrita, Jiva Goswami's Priti Sandarbha, and in many other books. The gopis have agreed to color Krishna's feet. Radhika does arti of the light emanating from Krishna's toenails with lakhs and lakhs of pran. This is to show how much Radhika loves Krishna. Her love for Krishna is coming from her heart, and she is giving it to the feet of Krishna. She cannot tolerate anything which might be troublesome for Krishna. Yatte charanam buruham staneshu bita shanai priya dadimahi karkakeshu. Karkasheshu. That's the famous verse from the Gopi Gita, chapter 31, 10th canto, verse 19. That they are thinking, and she is thinking, that her breast is so hard. So she takes Krishna's feet very slowly and gently so that nothing can be painful to Krishna. She gives her whole prem, her love and affection to the feet of Krishna. Srimati Radhika gives her whole prem, and Krishna in return wants to do the same. But how can he do it? Srimati Radhika takes his feet in her lap and paints them with kumkum as if the anurag in her heart is there on Krishna's feet. Now Krishna wants to repay her. So after that, Krishna takes the feet of Srimati Radhika and paints them as we have described earlier. And he writes his name there, as if he himself is the ankle bells on Radhika's feet. He places her feet on his head, and the color of the kumkum comes there. First, Radhika's color goes to the feet of Krishna, and next Krishna takes the feet of Srimati Radhika and puts the color of her feet on his head. So this is reciprocal love, or conjugal love. The gopis wear kumkum daily so that they can worship Krishna's feet with it. And Krishna, in return, does so many things that it may please Srimati Radhika and the gopis. Therefore, she is kumkum angi. And here, Tulsi Manjari uses that name because she remembers that pastime. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that the Pulindi girls, like Bringi and others, become overpowered by Kam, seeing the kumkum on the grass. Kam means the desire to meet Krishna. But why? Because they seem to be maidservants of Srimati Radhika. Sometimes they are called by Radhika, Lalita, or Vishaka to meet them in gambling and to give some fun to Krishna. So that's another activity of the Pulindi girls.
In the Bhakti Rasayan, it's mentioned that Krishna lost a bet, and Radhika said, okay, now you should stake something very valuable. And he said, what should I stake? He said, stake your flute. Well, I'll only stake my flute if you stake something valuable. Mm-hmm. And she tricked him and got a Pulinda girl. I won't trade my flute for her, he said.
Yeah. Jai. So, Kam means the desire to meet Krishna. But why? Because they seem to be made servants of Srimati Radhika. Sometimes they are called by Radhika, Lalita, or Vishaka to meet them in gambling and to give some fun to Krishna. Also, Radhika used to defend them, the Pulindi girls. Kumkumangi has so many vast meanings. There is an ocean of rasa in this word. The whole Srimad Bhagavatam can come here in this word. The whole Govinda Lilamrita can come here. There are so many examples of kumkum angi. Nana vidhayar amritasara rasayanaistai. Here, rasayanais, anything very wonderful, can be a tonic, a rasayan. Do you ever have Ayurvedic tonics that have rasayan in the name? What was that famous one that everyone always used to get? Anyway, but a rasayan means a tonic. That once the imbalance and the disease has been removed, then they prescribe rasayans to build up the body then after that. So like, what was that called? Bhakti Rasayan, Gurudev's.
That's the whole idea of these verses. He said they'll act like a tonic to make healthy the soul who recites them.
Right? Yeah. Like a tonic. That's why it's called Rasayan. So here, rasayanice. Anything very wonderful can be a tonic, a rasayan. Here, amrita keli and all other foodstuffs are rasayan. But the main subject is not food, but only that rasa is needed there. You can give me a fountain pen, but it is not the fountain pen which is important. It is your heart and the love there. The pen is only a prakrita. Here, amrita sar is not just a preparation, but it is the remnants of Krishna, and the pastimes of Krishna are all rasamrita. It is connected with that thing.
Everything is based on love.
Huh?
Everything is based on love.
Yeah, everything.
Whether
Everything.
it's giving anything.
Yeah. So that's why Sanatana Goswami, when Madan Mohan was asking, can't you put a little salt? And then he said, I told you that if you come with me, I cannot provide so many things. Right? And then Prabhupada said in that purport, so he had to take it without salt.
Prabhupada said, my dear sir,
Yeah.
I am a poor man.
Right.
What can I do?
Yeah. Yeah. So then, but then Prabhupada said, so then Madan Mohan, he had to accept. But he made another arrangement. You remember what that arrangement was?
Yeah.
An entire shipload of salt coming from Jaipur or somewhere like that on the Yamuna. Yeah.
It was going towards Agra, right?
I think so, yeah. Okay. Rasayanice Tai. So Rati Manjari is praying that Dhanishta will give her the remnants of Krishna, and Yashoda will give her the love for Radhika in that Rasayanice Amrita Keli, and all the things that Krishna has taken. Dhanishta will give what Krishna has tasted and indirectly left for Srimati Radhika. She will give, and Tulsi Manjari will then mix the remnants given by Yashoda with those given by Dhanishta, and it will then be more than Amrita, and it will be Rasavaha, carrying so much rasa. Like a rasgula, every portion of a rasgula is full of ras. These preparations are very sweet, no doubt, but Krishna's remnants makes them so much more rasasta. And the pastimes mixing with these make it more and more rasasta. So Tulsi Manjari will carry this to Srimati and give it in her hand. And she will give it to Lalita and Vishaka, who will distribute it, and in a private place they will partake of it. So Radhika is taking, but her mind is in another place, deeply thinking of the pastimes of Krishna. So the next section is called the Transcendental Ecstasy of Tasting Mahaprasadam. But I was just pointing out one thing I was remembering when I was reading how they're mixing these different remnants together, right? And I remember Singania. Remember Singania? He was a member of that very wealthy Singania family. They became life members very early on in Prabhupada's ISKCON in India. And Singania actually eventually later took initiation from Jayapataka in Mayapur, because he was closely connected with ISKCON. But then years later he got initiated by Gurudev. Yeah, he got initiated by Gurudev. And Gurudev gave him a spiritual name, but everybody just kept on calling him Singania. Hey, Singania ji. Anyway, he always was, all the years that Gurudev was touring everywhere, Singania would be either staying in Rup Sanatan temple, or he always went in the winter because they had a house. His family owned a house in Puri, and Gurudev stayed there one time in that house, near the ocean, not right immediate, but not far. Yeah, and so we would see him everywhere, and I was good friends with him. We would sit and talk on the rooftop of Rup Sanatan, So one time when I saw him in Jagannath Puri, because he stays there in Puri, his family helped to build that big guest house, So he stays there in Puri at certain times of the year, and this might have been Rath Yatra time. The only time that I went to Rath Yatra was only once in 2015. I never went any other year. I went in 2015, which was the Navakalevara year, where they give a new body for Jagannath. Yeah. So I remember that one day we were there in his temple at midday, like the Bhoga offering, the Bhoga offering and Bhogarti. And then after that, he came out with a big tray, with the tray with the sides that go up like that. And it was full of all the Mahaprasadam directly from the deity's plates. But it was all mixed together. It was all mixed together.
Purposely?
Yes, purposely. So then he said, how did he say it? He said, yes, it is a well-known fact that when Mahaprasadam is mixed together, it will always be extremely tasteful, with all the different preps mixed together. Mm-hmm. And it sure was. We got a little bit in our palm and whoa.
Well, every kind of flavor.
Yeah, but mixed together and, different preps on different days, but it always has this powerful, wonderful taste.
First time I heard his name mentioned, I had no idea who he was, but I was in Gurudev's room.
Yeah.
85, maybe 84.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some need, and for some Lakshmi, obviously. And Gurudev said, maybe I will ask Singhania.
Yeah.
And he was thinking about it.
Right.
It's the first time I heard his name mentioned.
You met him? You recognize him?
I can't place him.
Okay.
There's another wealthy person from Delhi who was always there, and maybe it's him that I'm thinking.
No, that's what's his name?
He owns factories in Delhi.
Yeah, very heavy set.
Yeah.
And his wife. Who is that? No,
The guy's name,
it will
He's
come
a
to
different person.
Yeah, he's different, but also similar. He did so much seva.
So much so.
Yeah, and Gurudev used to stay in his house all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this could have been before he had really come to Gurudev when I first heard his name mentioned.
Could be.
Yeah.
85, because it would have been in the 80s that he was associated with ISKCON.
Right.
But he was always associated with Gaudiya Math as well. He wasn't only associated with ISKCON. He was simultaneously associated with Gaudiya Math. But then later on he kind of withdrew from ISKCON, and he helped to build Devananda Gaudiya Math guest house. So he has his own room there.
Way back?
Maybe like also in the late 80s, early 90s, something like that. Okay, so this section is titled, The transcendental ecstasy of tasting Mahaprasad. One day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Mandir to receive darshan of Jagannath. And after darshan, when he returned to the Gambira, the pujari sent Mahaprabhu a big plate of Mahaprasad. And upon seeing how beautiful and fragrant it was, Mahaprabhu began to weep, thinking, Jagannath is so kind that he has sent this for me. Here's the verse from Anjalila. Krishnera jay bhukta shesh, tar pela nam, tara ek lava jay pai, se bhagyavan. That means that Krishna's remnants are called Pela, P-H-E-L-A, Pela. Anyone who receives even a tiny particle is very fortunate. The remnants of Krishna are called Pela, and a very little particle of this is called Pela Lava. Lava, you know.
One moment,
Lava Matra Sarva Siddhyoy. So Krishna has eaten it. In that way, it touched his lips, and it thus became nectar. So, the remnants of this is called Pela Lava. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tasted the Mahaprasad, and he began to weep and to praise Mahaprasad. Oh, only those who are very fortunate can taste this. So Gurudev asks, what is that fortune? Then he quotes the verse from Antilila, chapter 16, verse 99. Samanya bhagya hoite, tar prapti nahi hoy, Krishner jante purna kripa se taha pai. This means that by ordinary fortune, one cannot obtain this mercy. Only those who have received Krishna's full mercy can receive such remnants. So,
this would apply to the prasadam that we get off of the altar.
in what way?
That we're only those who are very fortunate
Uh-huh.
can receive this Mahaprasad.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but there's different levels of Mahaprasad and there's different levels of good fortune too. So, Gurudev is saying here that if one does not have sufficient sukriti, you will not be able to taste it. In the Mahabharata and in the Skanda Purana, it is stated, Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Svalpa Punya Vatam Rajan Vishvaso Naiva Jayate. Those who do not possess sufficient pious credits, they will not have faith in the holy name, in Mahaprasad, in the Vaishnavas and the Brahmins. Why? Because Mahaprasad is chinmoy, it is transcendental, and they will not be able to taste it. If they possess abundant sukriti, here sukriti means
spiritual credit. Bhakti.
Bhakti, yes. Here sukriti means bhakti. He's telling. So, if they do not possess abundant sukriti, they will be able to taste it. If they do possess abundant sukriti, they will be able to taste it and directly experience that it is Mahaprasad. So Mahaprabhu says, if someone tastes Mahaprasad and serves it, then I think that he must have received the full mercy of Krishna. This sukriti, or this punya, is Krishna's mercy, and without it, one will be unable to realize it. Then he quotes he quotes another verse from that same section. Koti amrita svad paya prabhura chamatkar sarvangi pulaka netre vahe ashrudar. To Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the prasad tasted millions upon millions of times more delicious than nectar, and thus he was fully astonished. The hair on his body stood on end, and incessant tears flowed from his eyes. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tasted that Mahaprasad, and he was fully satisfied. The whole day he continued to praise Mahaprasad while weeping and chanting Harinam. For 24 hours he was immersed in the ecstatic mellows of that Mahaprasad. The whole day the hairs on his body stood on end and tears were flowing from his eyes. He remembered how Krishna and the cowherd boys would take prasad together. What's the name of the place we would go to? On Braj Mandala Parikrama. The place where the cowherd boys took prasad. Bhojan Tali. Tali like a tali. Yeah. So one day, Srimati Radhika was in the kitchen in Nanda Bhavan, cooking. And Mother Yashoda found out that there were not enough puris to serve. So then she called Srimati Radhika, "My dear darling daughter, come and bring more puris." Then coming out from the kitchen with a golden pot of puris, Mother Yashoda asked her to give some on Krishna's plate. But Srimati Radhika dropped the pot, ran away into the kitchen and began to tremble. Then Yashoda asked, "Why? I ordered you to come and give it on Krishna's plate." Radhika was smiling but did not say anything. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was remembering all these pastimes and he was crying. Having taken the bhav of Radhika, Mahaprabhu could experience how Radhika felt as Krishna was taking prasad. Just imagine, Krishna is tasting all the different moods of Srimati Radhika. He quotes a verse from the same chapter. E dravye eta svada kaha hoite aila Krishnera adaramrita ite sancharila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, where has such a taste in this prasadam come from? It must be that the nectar of Krishna's lips has been infused within it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying to Swarup Damodar and to Roy Ramananda and to all the other devotees who were present, he says, you know how tasteful rice, dal, grains, vegetable, milk, rabri, koa, and laddu are. You know how tasteful all these are. But taste this, the remnants of Krishna. Is it like exclamation mark? How fragrant it is. How sweet it is. Certainly Krishna has tasted it and left some remnants in this pot. Material preparations cannot be so tasteful and fragrant. Weeping, he distributed the prasad with his own hand to his associates. Upon taking it, they all became as blissful as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the same way, Srimati Radhika took the remnants which were sent through Dhanishta. She tasted some and then divided it among her Sakhis. Then there's a quote from that same chapter, 121 through 122 verses of that 16th chapter of Panchalila. Here's the Bengali. Tanuman karai kshoba barai surata lobha harsha shokadi bara vinashaya. Pasharai anyaras jagat kore atmavash lajja dharma dairya kore kshai. Nagra shuna tomar adhara charita matai narirman jiva kore akarshan vicharite sava viparita. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in the mood of Radha, O Nagara, let me describe some of the qualities of your transcendental lips. They disturb the mind and body of everyone. They increase the fire of desire for enjoyment. They destroy the burden of mundane happiness and grief. And they make one forget all material tastes. The whole world comes under their control. They destroy shame, dharma, and patience, especially in women. Indeed, they inspire madness in the hearts of all women. Your lips increase the tongue's greed, and thus they attract it. Considering all this, we see that the activities of your lips defy all logic. So, Radhika is taking the remnants of Krishna, and the effect is that her rati to meet with and love Krishna is increasing in an unlimited fashion. She has become mad to see Krishna and to taste his lips. Radhika says, taking this Mahaprasad from Krishna makes my heart feel as if I am tasting him, I am seeing him, talking with him, and touching him. It increases the eagerness to meet with Krishna.
What a mystical realm we've been brought into.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Then taking Krishna's remnants certainly vanquishes all of one's anxieties, all of one's lamentations, bewilderment, fear, and everything. All worldly desires will go. Every kind of desire of this material world will go away by tasting this Mahaprasad. The desire for eating, drinking, dressing nicely, meeting with others, everything will go. Even shyness, attachment to religious codes, and all patience goes away. Patience and shyness are what obstructs a gopi from meeting Krishna. How should I go? All will see that I'm going. What will they say? By this patience comes, and so it is an obstacle to meet Krishna, and shame. What will everyone say? I should not go in front of everyone. If there is no one there, then I will go. If there is no one there, then I will go. But by taking the remnants of Krishna, all this goes away. Taking his prasad clears the way, and then one will not care for anything, whether it is a day or night or anything. If one is male, he can go at once. But if one is female, then taking these remnants, everything becomes clear, and they will meet. Then they don't think what is shame or patience. They will, without hesitation, meet with Krishna. Yes, these remnants have so much potency. So we'll finish there. This is only halfway through, I think. Or no, not even.
Is there a chance?
Like a third of the way.
Is there a chance of having a reading tomorrow?
Well, I mentioned that there's a chance, but I'm not guaranteeing it, because obviously I've got a time limitation now to complete everything before I go. So that's in the secondary category now. This is the primary category. So let's see. I have most things done tomorrow. I have to go down to the town and leave at 9 here, so I won't have time to do anything in the morning. And then, let's see, depending on what the result is.
What time, you have an appointment for that?
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
to have an appointment.
that's
You know
right.
the result in 15 minutes?
Yeah,
And what time is your appointment?
10:30. So let's say by 11.
I'll call you at 11.
Okay. Okay. I didn't actually ask them, what happens if I get a positive? Then what? Do you give me another test? Do you, my $150 down the drain?
Probably,
You know?
yeah.
If you
Such a
have a
racket.
test and it becomes negative. That happens. I
Oh,
understand.
That happened to Kishore.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. But Kishore, see,
he had a cold.
Tirthapada was telling me that he was way stuffed up, lots of mucus and everything. And then in that condition,
So maybe this thing will clear also.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see. Let's see. Everything depends on you, O Radha and Krishna. I cannot control anything. Everything is your will. You know, not a blade of grass moves. No jiva goes anywhere without your sanction, without your will. So we're doing only what is clear, what we need to do. But ultimately, it's all about surrender, isn't it? All about surrender. So Shri Vilapa-kusumanjali ki jai, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pada ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Pada ki jai, Shri Sad Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Jai Shri Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj ki jai. I'm going from up to down. Then Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. The transcendental nectar of Krishna's lips in the form of Mahaprasad remnants ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. I'll take a pair too. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radhe Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radhe Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinatha, Radha Gopinatha, Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinatha, Radha Gopinatha, Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Saparikash Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vitagiri Shri Radha Vinodhi Hari Jai. Jai Transcendental Braj Dham Leela Ki Jai. Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai. Radha Kunda Shyama Kunda Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Cha. Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namah. Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Cha. Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Well, I'm going to miss all of your association so much.
It's more coming from the other side. I'm going to miss your class.
We should join you there.